We're 10 weeks into the NFL season, and I feel like none of us even know who's good. You got the good teams getting popped by the bad teams. You got the bad teams beating the good teams, then getting popped by another bad team, and everything is just absolute chaos. And when you say any given Sunday, that is the most true statement in this football season. We have our NFL mid-season recap. We're reviewing the standings I predicted in the preseason, and brother, are they insane. We're reviewing my Super Bowl predictions. What I need you to do, down in the comments, comment your new, or if you feel like it's still alive, your old Super Bowl prediction, starting with the AFC North, the Ravens. We had them at 14-3. They were such a dominant looking team coming into the season. Everyone had them at the top of their board. Everyone had them dominating not just the AFC, but the NFL in general. We had the Steelers 11-6. Still possible potential, but the way they're getting beat recently, the offense is looking stale. I don't see that happen. The Bengals, Joe Burrow, why? Obviously, I made this prediction thinking Joe Burrow was going to stay healthy this year. What an awful assessment from me. They're currently 3-6, and it is not looking great for the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Browns are going to be the Browns. I'll be surprised if they get to 5 wins like I predicted. They're currently 2-7. But the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals have been dealing with injuries. The Ravens are still favorites to win this division now. They're not going to win 14 games. They're probably not going to win 13 games. It's probably going to be a grueler with them and the Steelers at the end of the year to see who's going to win the division. I feel like the Steelers are starting to slow down. Them not getting a wide receiver not in free agency, but at the trade deadline is going to tremendously hurt them. It is going to be massive. They needed a new wide receiver in that wide receiver room. They needed a possession guy, someone that's going to go out there, run the hard routes in the middle of the field, and catch the ball. You got DK, who is a pretty solid deep threat guy. Feel like he's not an amazing route runner. You got Calvin Austin, pretty solid deep threat guy. Feel like he's not a great route runner. You just got a bunch of dudes that you just got to throw down. I mean, even your tight ends aren't great route runners. So the Steelers, I can see them winning 11. The Ravens aren't going to get to 14, but I still think they're going to win the division. The Bengals, news, Joe Burrow coming off of IR. There is still potential to go out here and win this division. The Bengals, if they go on a streak like they do at the end of every year, if Joseph Dwayne Burrow III can come back in here and be hot at the end of the year, anything can happen in this division except the Browns making playoffs. We just want to see Shedeur Sanders at this point. Make it happen. Someone, please. AFC South. We have the Texans 11-6, Jags 10-7, Colts 5-12, and Titans 5-12. The Titans look like they're not going to get to the 5 wins. Cam Ward, I don't want to put it all on Cam Ward. The thing he does that blows my mind is I've never seen a quarterback more draw the ball back and just drop it. He just drops the football. I don't know if his hands are too small, what's going on with Cam Ward, but this football team looks absolutely abysmal. It looks like a JUCO level football team out there, and I thought they were going to win more games than they're showing right now. And what makes me mad is they can't finish a game. They get in the red zone and they can't finish. They can't finish a game. They've been toe-to-toe with some of the best teams in this league and just can't go out here and get it done. The Texans at 4-5. We love to see it. I have a ongoing bet with one of my fantasy football colleagues that over the last 3 years, I believe over the last 3 years, that the Texans would not make the Super Bowl. This is the last year. I'm going to get an easy $500 payout. Let's lock in on that. Jags 5-4. They started off immaculate. I'm talking, if I told you the Jags started off 4-0, you wouldn't believe me. The wide receiver core, I don't know what has happened with Brian Thomas. They have dropped the most passes in the league. They go and get Jacoby Myers, who I am hoping makes a massive impact on this team and can continue to build and eventually start winning games again. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is that guy. I have been a big Trevor Lawrence supporter. He has had to go through multiple coaches. He's had to go through multiple systems, but something about Trevor Lawrence is lacking. I don't know if his confidence is there. Could we see a Baker Mayfield effect? Could we see Trevor Lawrence get sent away from the Jags, go to another team, get a consistent basis of coaching, and start to go off. Now, I don't know if the Jags would be willing to move off Trevor Lawrence, but if they don't make playoffs this year, something has to give. And we have the Colts, who I had at 5-12, standing at an astonishing 8-2. And I said at the beginning of preseason, I said, Danny Dimes is going to win this quarterback job, because you look around the league, you're going to put guys into positions who are going to go out here and make the best decisions on the offense. Guys like Anthony Richardson, you got to teach him how to pass. You got to teach him how to go out here and make the decisions. Anthony Richardson couldn't do nothing but throw absolute deep bombs. This is a team not built around a guy like Anthony Richardson. This is a team built for a guy like Danny Dimes, who can stand in the pocket, who can make the reads, who can get rid of the ball, and who can protect the football when it comes down to close game decisions. The Colts at 8-2 is probably the most astonishing thing on this list. I am happy to see them at 8-2. They have such a good football team, and the thing is, they went and made it better at the trade deadline. They said, okay, what are we bad at? We don't have a great defense. Let's go get a guy that can elevate our defense to the next level. This division is completely flipped upside down. You got the Colts on the bottom in my predictions, the Colts at the top in the standings. The Jags still have potential to go out here and do something. They can still make my prediction look somewhat right, but the Titans, I feel like, might win one more game this year. Next, we have if I can click on this, AFC East. I said going into the season, the New England Patriots would be one of the best, I didn't say one of the best teams in the NFL. I said one of the most improved teams in the league, next to the Chicago Bears. Obviously left the Colts out. Didn't think they were going to be great coming into this year. I'll take that loss. The New England Patriots, I had it 9-8 in my prediction, sitting at a great 8-2, 1 win away. Well, really 2 wins away from getting past my prediction. But this Patriots team is firing on all cylinders. Oh, what did I hear? Oh, they haven't beat no one. They can't beat anyone. Well, guess what? They went out there last week and gave the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the 6-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, good on offense, good on defense, belt to ass. So everyone's saying that the New England Patriots can't beat good teams. Look at this. They just beat the Buffalo Bills a few weeks ago. They just beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know if y'all want them to go on like some crazy run and beat like the Lions, the Seahawks, like the Packers, like 4 crazy teams in a row. The Patriots are absolute dogs this year, and the Bills kind of starting to show their true colors. The defense is terrible. They don't have a great defense. When the defense is firing in a game, they start to play really good team ball. There's just really no standouts over there. The offense, the wide receiver core is terrible. When you can't get Josh Allen going, when you have a team that's going to hit Josh Allen in his mouth over and over and over and over again, make him stay in that pocket. Make him pass the ball to this awful wide receiver core. You're going to get a win over the Buffalo Bills. I'm just being honest with you. The Dolphins, I had them winning a few more games. We knew they weren't going to make playoffs. This team looks absolutely terrible. Tua turned the ball over, has tremendously regressed this year. And then the Jets, I think I gave them a little bit too much love. And I'm one of the biggest Justin Fields haters in the league. Amazing athlete, terrible quarterback. They're sitting at a devastating 2-7. I think they just stacked 2 wins in a row. Correct me if I'm wrong, which is absolutely insane. I don't know if they'll win another game this season. They're starting to kind of turn it around. I hope they stick with their head coach and let him build a team that he can work with. At the AFC West, I had the Chargers winning the division, followed by the Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, and it looks a little bit different in the standings. The Broncos are sitting at the top of the division at 8-2, and the Broncos honestly have had an absolute terrible year on offense. If they can button up that offense and get something going, get some consistency going, get some touchdowns in the red zone, get some touchdowns in the board, and get a consistent offense through the whole game, the Broncos could go win a Super Bowl this year because they have one of the best defenses in the league. If you get consistent on offense, anything can happen. My favorite to still win the division is the LA Chargers. They did go through a little stint. That what is great for them at the beginning of the year, they went 3 weeks in a row winning 3 division games. So that is massive for them. But the LA Chargers, battered, beat up, missing both their tackles, missing both their starting running backs. Their wide receiver core was a little banged up. Their defense was a little banged up. They're starting to get healthy again. But what Harbaugh brings to this team is resilience and next man up mentality. I think the LA Chargers can still go out here and win this. But the big what if are the Kansas City Chiefs going to miss playoffs this year. And I had them at 10-7. I thought the Broncos were going to be a little bit worse. They're already exceeding expectations. The defense is just diabolical. The Chiefs, who did start slow, are making a little bit of a comeback, finally getting healthy again. Are they going to be able to go on a win streak, which is what it's going to take to make the playoffs here? They're going to have to attempt to catch the Chargers. We might potentially be looking at a year without the Chiefs in the playoffs. And I know a bunch of you are going to rejoice at that side of not having to see the Queen, Taylor Swift. And then the Raiders at 2-7. We knew they were going to be absolute terrible this year. I gave them a few too many wins. I thought Geno Smith was going to go over there and make something of this offense. You had Jacoby Myers. You had Brock Bowers. This is a team that has a lot of potential, has a lot of stars everywhere on the team. Tight end, wide receiver, you sent Jacoby Myers away. You're absolutely stupid. The defense has stars over there that they have to develop. The Raiders, just Geno Smith is not looking great. I don't know. It's not like he's having to learn a new he's been in the league too long for learning a new system to be what we're talking about right here. The Raiders at a devastating 2-7 into the NFC. The Philadelphia Eagles looking like they're going to run through and absolutely dominate this division. Again, my predictions were Eagles, Washington, Cowboys, Giants. I gave the Cowboys a little bit more love. I think their line was 7.5 going into the year. I was like, they can hit the over on that. The offense is ridiculous. I didn't know I knew the defense was going to be bad. I didn't know they were going to be tremendously terrible, bottom of the NFL bad. Eagles, 12-5 prediction. They're probably going to hit that. Something's telling me in my soul. The Cowboys, 3-5. The prediction was 8-9. They could get it together. The offense is insane. They just added a few pieces on the defense. They're about to go through a 4-week stretch that is do or die time. I think they have the Raiders on Monday, which with this defense, I feel like the Raiders can pop them. We'll see how that goes. Then I think they have like the Chiefs and the Eagles or something. It's something ridiculous over the next 3 or 4 games. Washington, they've just been banged up all year. They haven't had their starting quarterback half the year. I had them at 10-7. They're sitting at 3-7. They would have to win out to get anywhere close to my prediction. That's not happening with Marcus Mariota at the helm, who is a great quarterback, but he's not Jaden Daniels. And with the defense playing absolutely terrible, we just got notice today that Dan Quinn is taking over the defensive calls for this team. So things are not looking good in Washington. And the New York Giants, who I think can get to 4 wins on the season. They are playing really good football. When Jackson Dart's out there, they're just so battered and beat up. They would have exceeded this 4 wins if they had their whole team. Cam Scatabo, unfortunately, gets hurt. Malik Neighbors, unfortunately, gets hurt. And they're still live. Not to make playoffs, but the New York Giants are a very fun team to watch. And I think there's a lot of potential there with Jackson Dart. They did fire Brian DeBall, which kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. You're going to fire your head coach who didn't have his quarterback at the end of the last game, who lost his number 1 running back, who lost his number 1 wide receiver. Just stuff like that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. They can him at the end of the year. Like, what are we doing? Like, the interim's not going to come in and do anything better than what Brian DeBall was doing. It's kind of like when the Titans canned Brian Callahan. What did you want Brian Callahan to do with the Texas A&M Commerce Lions on the field? You know, he was running a JUCO college onto an NFL field. It was just bad. It's not just on the coach. That's on the GM, everyone in the front office. Next, we have the NFC West, and it is shaping up to look exactly how I thought it would look. My Seattle Seahawks sitting at the top of the division, and I'm going to keep it real with y'all. We're about to sweep the Rams this year and make this prediction true. We have the Seattle Seahawks at 11-6. They're sitting in an astonishing 7-12. The defense looking better than I thought it would look, and the offense quite literally exceeding everything I thought it could expectation-wise on that side of the ball. Love to see Sam Darnold hoop, and I've been a Sam Darnold sympathizer since he came in the league with the Jets. I always knew he had that factor to go out here and get it done. We have the Rams prediction 10-7, standing 7-10. They're going to finish around 11-6. They're going to finish around 7-10. They might potentially fall off towards the end of the year. We have to steal both games in this matchup for us to go 11-6 and for us to win this division soundly. 49ers, I had them at 7-10. They're already at 6-4. Shanahan, Might be one of the best coaches in the league, the way he could just plug this guy here, this guy here, this guy. Oh, this guy's hurt, we're going to plug this guy in. This guy's hurt, we're going to plug this guy in. Just a resilient football team, one of the best systems in the league. Paying Brock Purdy was absolutely crazy because now you got guys like, who is it, Mac Jones, out here absolutely hooping. You're probably paying him like $2 million. And then the Arizona Cardinals, I knew they were going to be absolute tremendous trash this year. Kyler Murray, not a good quarterback. They put him on IR, but I'm going to keep it real with y'all. They benched him weeks ago. His foot injury is not that bad. They had plays drawn up for him to get in some schemes against the Seattle Seahawks. They scrapped it last minute, took him out of the game, threw him on IR the next day. Something is not right between the front office and Kyler Murray. He will not be on this team next year. Jacoby Brissett is taking the helm, and Jacoby Brissett looks like the better quarterback over Kyler Murray. I'm going to keep it real. Cardinals at 3-6. Final prediction was 7-10. On to the NFC South, and this one is completely flipped on its head. I had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 11-6. I still think they can do this. They're battered and beat up. They're sitting at 6-3. They lost Mike Evans for the year. Chris Godwin's still not fully in form. The defense is starting to look a lot better. They're starting to get their run game back healthy. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be okay. I think they're going to run away with this division because the next team behind them at 5-5 is the Carolina Panthers, the inconsistent Carolina Panthers. I did have them only winning 5 games this season, but I knew they could win up to 7. My potential is the Carolina Panthers winning up to 7. I knew there were some 50-50 games on their schedule. They've won some 50-50 games. They've lost some 50-50 games. They've won some games I didn't think they could win. So there's a lot of potential here for the Carolina Panthers. What going forward is going to be interesting. What they do with Bryce Young. Are they going to pay the young man? I'm not sure if he's coming up on a 5th-year option. What is happening with Bryce Young? He is coming up on a contract year. That is what I do know. The Atlanta Falcons. Listen here, Atlanta fans. I am done saying y'all are good. I have taken y'all 2 years in a row at 10+ wins because the team y'all have, honestly, is ridiculous and y'all just can't get it done. Y'all get blown out 30-0 by the Carolina Panthers. The Atlanta Falcons are my biggest disappointment so far this year. And then the New Orleans Saints, they're actually going to exceed expectations. They're probably going to win one. Potentially maybe 2 more. I had them at 2-15. They're already at 2-8. There's still nothing great about this team. They're already playing quarterback roulette. They're probably going to draft a quarterback. I feel like Spencer Rattler's not getting his fair share. You're throwing an offense out on the field that is absolutely terrible. You just traded Rashid Shaheed. So the Saints are absolutely awful. We knew that coming into this year, though. That is something we knew was going to happen. At the NFC North, everyone called me crazy when I had the Minnesota Vikings at the bottom of the division, and when I had the Chicago Bears in second. We knew the Lions were going to regress a little bit, but they weren't going to regress enough to not win the division because the offense is just a well-oiled machine. It's really the defense that needs to come together and start playing a lot better, in which they are doing. This is a team that's got a lot of young guys on here. They're going to have to get it clicking. The Lions are still going to finish about 10-7. 11-6, something along those lines. But my Chicago Bears, this is one of my favorite picks I had this year, that I said the Patriots would be the most improved team in the AFC, and the Bears would be the most improved team in the NFC. Now the Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts are obviously fighting for that in the AFC, but in the NFC, the Bears, absolutely the most improved team. They're going to win 10 games. I think they're going to make playoffs. And from a sophomore like Caleb Williams, don't get me wrong, still makes mistakes, still holds the ball a little bit too long, in a system with Ben Johnson, when you just have to go out there, do your reads, get rid of the ball, get to the next play. Caleb Williams still wants to make those plays happen. Let's make those plays happen. I respect it. The Packers at 5-3-1. I have them finishing 9-8 on the year, and I still think that is a good assessment of this team. They can't beat the good teams. They play down to the bad teams. They play up to the good teams, but can't get it done. There is just something missing with this team, and with them missing 2 first-round picks, it's looking actually scary in Green Bay right now because you just have no wide receivers. You have no solid wide receiver one. Tucker Kraft goes down, torn ACL. That was your go-to guy. You have no go-to guy in the wide receiver, and your go-to guy was a tight end. So you're going to have to find someone that is going to stand out on this team. And the Minnesota Vikings, I had them at 6-11. They're probably going to exceed that. They're at 4-5 right now. J.J. McCarthy looks like he's getting better as the season goes on. Obviously, still technically a rookie. He's going to put up rookie numbers. He's going to make rookie mistakes. But going into next year, I think this team is going to take a massive leap. And last but not least, our Super Bowl predictions. In the preseason, I said I think Joe Burrow is going to take on the reigning, defending Philadelphia Eagles, who are attempting to go back and back, but obviously things happen. The Eagles, I really don't even think are going to make the Super Bowl. The offense looks awful. I'm going to be real with you. The defense lets up big plays. They are starting to get better. This is the thing about the Eagles. You really can't tell towards the end of the season because they get better as time goes on. The Cincinnati Bengals lost their quarterback. So my new mid-season prediction, I have the Indianapolis Colts taking on my Seattle Seahawks. That is my new midseason prediction, with my Seattle Seahawks going out there putting absolute belt to ass on Indiana Jones and the Indianapolis Colts and getting another ring. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our mid-season review. What I need you to do down in the comments, let me know who your most surprising team is this season. Let me know who your most upsetting team is this season. And let me know your new Super Bowl predictions down below. Don't forget, like, subscribe, follow.